Hello you guys, welcome to Vlogmas Day 10. I am really excited for this video, but I'm also just a bit nervous because I'm going to be talking about parenting questions and controversial questions that deal with parenting and yeah, all that kind of stuff, which I actually saw this video a little while ago from a girl named Liz Heister on YouTube. Her name's Alyssa. I wanted to recreate this, and so I'm using a lot of the same questions that she got asked, and then I asked you guys on Instagram as well for a few more. So there's a ton of like really controversial things that I'm going to talk about, and I feel like I can't start this video without a disclaimer because I just don't want this to create any negativity. I'm just here to share my opinion, and I'm not judging the other side of it by any means, and I don't really want judgment for my opinion on it. So first of all, if you're here for judgment, just go ahead and leave and we'll see in the next video. But if you are just wanting to hear my thoughts, then this will be fun. So I also wanted to say something that Alyssa had mentioned, and I thought it was just like really awesome. So at the beginning of her video, she just said that like whatever works for you and your household is like what matters. And so that's not just what works for me, it's what works for my husband, and it is what works for my kids. So that is kind of like where we're going off of these kinds of things. And I currently have a 3-month-old, so there's not a lot of parenting that I've done yet. So a lot of this is kind of just like speculation of what I plan on doing. But I also wanted to mention that there's been a lot of things that I didn't plan on doing that I've already done, if that makes sense. So I just wanted to say too, if you're a parent, then maybe you'll understand this a little bit more once you've gone through it. But if you're not a parent, you can't really make comments on things of how you're going to parent until you parent, because from experience, I'm doing things I always said I wouldn't do. So I just wanted to kind of throw that disclaimer out before we get started. And I think I'm gonna have to actually film this later because Rocky's waking up. So yeah, we'll reconvene at some point. Rocky boy woke up, which means I'm not gonna film this while he's awake because he needs to play and get all of his energy out. And so I'm gonna try and wait until Nathaniel gets home to be able to film this. And yeah, I don't know if the lighting, the position, all this stuff is gonna be the same, but that doesn't really matter, huh? You guys just want the content. So here's your daily dose of Rocky for day 10. Say hello. So yeah, I'm gonna let him play and then we'll get back to the video. Okay, Nathaniel's home, so he has Rocky. If you hear anything in the background, it's Nathaniel talking to Rocky and then him trying to put him down for a nap. So don't mind that, but I'm just gonna jump into like all of the topics and just kind of state them and just say my opinion on them. So we're just gonna get right into it. So the first one that she did was TV watching. And this is something that I thought I wasn't gonna allow like a baby to do, but I've already done it. He's only 3 months old. We always have TV on in the background just because it's like quiet in the house. I don't feel like that really counts, but we do intentionally put on a couple shows sometimes if he's like super cranky and he just needs to like be distracted. He loves like really animated shows, and there's one called Choo Choo TV, which I've mentioned before, but it's like a learning one where it talks about colors, shapes, like all that kind of stuff. So definitely something that I was like, I'm probably not gonna do that, and I've already done it. So yes. The next one is toys. Like, do you want Montessori? Do you want like battery operated? That kind of thing. This one, I'm not like one way or the other, but I would like to lean more towards Montessori. If you guys don't know what that is, you basically learn through play. So you don't have like any toys that are like battery operated that your kid like sits and watches. It's more so they take something and they play with it. It's a lot of like wood toys. It's a lot of like sensory learning. So using their 5 senses, that kind of thing. So that is kind of what I plan on doing. But if someone buys him a battery toy, like we're not gonna not use it or return it or anything like that. And I'm sure like once he gets a walker and that kind of stuff, it'll have like little things that have battery operated. So we're not gonna be crazy, but we'll definitely prefer Montessori. Okay, the next thing was time for yourself while having a kid. Like taking time for yourself and not just like leaving your kid a lot, or do you plan on leaving them a lot, that kind of thing. So work has really forced me to take time for myself because I have to leave to go do photo shoots and stuff like that. So that maybe forced me a little bit earlier than I was hoping, but I'm really glad that it did because it forced Nathaniel and Rocky to be able to like bond well and do well together. If you guys, I don't remember where I said it, but I made a comment once where Rocky had a hard time with me gone at first, and so it just really helped us like be able to do well on our own. And so I'm really glad that I did do that early. But a lot of times that I do take time for myself is because of work, so it doesn't really feel like I'm like taking time for myself, if that makes sense. And so I do try to just like go get my nails done or go shopping or just like go get a coffee by myself or something like that. It's not very often, but I do some of that. Okay, the next one is religion. Nathaniel and I have talked about this quite a bit, and we basically just want to like leave it open-ended for Rocky, and like he can decide what he wants to do. Nathaniel grew up Catholic. I grew up pretty much just like spiritual, like I pray all the time, but I've never really consistently gone to church. And yeah, we don't really want to like tell him one way is the right way. We want him to kind of just like do things and like ask questions, and like we can be there to guide him, but we don't really have like a certain religion that we plan on bringing him up in. Yeah, I don't know. We just kind of hope to like learn with him with that and not make him ever feel super pressured to do anything. Okay, next one was disciplining. So there was questions about like disciplining young kids, time out, spanking, saying no, that kind of thing. So we clearly have not disciplined yet. So this is something that I'm going to be talking on in the future that I may change my mind about. And it's something that Nathaniel and I need to talk about a little bit more, but I personally do not believe in spanking. So say a kid hits another kid and then you spank them for hitting another kid, I feel like it doesn't really teach them anything. But I also just feel like physical contact and fear isn't like the way that I want to go about discipline. That is something that, I don't know, I'm kind of leaning towards that way. I don't think timeout is a bad thing. I think it's good for a kid to like take some time to figure things out, but I don't know at what age to do that, because when they're super young, they don't really know right from wrong. My plan is just to kind of like work through emotions and like talk with Rocky and just like see why is he upset, and like acknowledge his emotions and his feelings, and just kind of try and help him learn how to deal with them. I don't know, I don't want to take like a hands-off approach, but I definitely want to like make sure that we like talk through things. And yeah, I don't know if that makes sense. Saying no was another one too I mentioned, and I think I'll definitely say no to him. I don't know how instinctively you wouldn't say no sometimes if you're used to being told no or saying no growing up. So yeah, that one I just don't feel super strongly about. I don't know. I can see both sides, but I don't really care for that topic, to be honest. Nothing really is like making me want to say yes or no. A lot of people asked about vaccines, and I really don't want to talk about vaccines because I know that's something that's like super controversial. So I'm just gonna like acknowledge that I saw your questions, but that is one I'm not gonna talk about. Yeah, I just don't want to get into that one. Okay, moving on is sleeping. So people were asking about like schedules, co-sleeping, cry it out, snuggle me for sleep, that kind of thing. So if you guys have seen any of my videos, you know I keep Rocky on a pretty strict schedule, and I personally have seen a lot of benefits from it. So I'm a huge schedule person. He sleeps 12 hours at night. He takes 4 naps a day. 3 of them are anywhere from like an hour and a half to 2 hours, and the last one is like 30 minutes just to like allow us to have dinner. So it works super well for us. Rocky's really happy that way because he's rested and he's growing. And yeah, co-sleeping. So we don't currently co-sleep. We put him swaddled in a bassinet, but during the night, like around like 4 or 5 a.m., we have been bringing him into the bed, still swaddled, but just like in between me and Nathaniel. We have a king size bed, and so there's plenty of room between us. And honestly, we just do that so that I have help at night, because when he wakes up to like put his binky back in his bed, or if he kind of just like tosses and turns, when he's in the bassinet, I'm the only one really like soothing him. So when we bring him into the bed, it allows Nathaniel to help me soothe him. So yeah, and then I haven't really done or had to do the cry it out method yet. Like sometimes when he's napping and he's like fussing a little bit, I'll like let him, but if he starts like crying, then I'll go get him. But I luckily haven't dealt with this a whole ton. Normally I put him down, and if he cries, like we'll rock him and he'll go to sleep within like a minute or so. But I would definitely say I haven't tried cry it out, because whenever he cries, like I just grab him. So yeah, I don't feel super strongly either way with that one either. We haven't had a crazy amount of experience with it. And then as far as the snuggle me for sleep, I know that this is like a lot of controversy because like it's a suffocation hazard, but Rocky sleeps in his snuggle me during his naps when I'm supervising him. So when he's asleep at night, he does not sleep in it. The reason why we do it during naps is because there's cushion on the side, and so it allows him to not like completely toss and turn, because he moves so much. Whereas at night, he's tired enough that when he tosses and turns, it doesn't really wake him up, and I will be sleeping, so I can't watch him. So I don't feel like 100% safe doing that. I don't have any judgment against it, but my pediatrician just like scared the shit out of me with that. So I chose not to, because she made me feel like I was going to kill my babies. Next topic is feeding. So the questions are on like formula versus breastfeeding. How long do you plan on breastfeeding? Do you plan on doing baby-led weaning, or do you plan on like spoon feeding? So I'm gonna start with like breastfeeding versus formula. I clearly breastfeed. I made a video all about my journey if you guys are curious on watching that. I plan on breastfeeding him for a year. That's my goal. I don't know how it's gonna go. If you guys saw my journey, it's been a lot of ups and downs, but I would love to get to a year. At a year, I don't plan on like cold cut turkey, but around there is when I would plan on stopping and just kind of like going based off of like our lives and like how we're both doing with it. So that's kind of my plan for breastfeeding. And then we do plan to do baby-led weaning. Nathaniel's not super excited about it because it's really messy, but I want him to just learn like the hand-eye coordination, and I want him to just like be able to feed himself. I feed him enough breastfeeding. I don't want to sit there and like spoon feed him. But like the most important thing is I want him to have like real whole foods. So I'm gonna give him like avocados, bananas, that kind of thing. Next one is homeschool versus public, private, or charter. So both Nathaniel and I went to a public school, and that's honestly what we both plan on doing. I don't think I could personally homeschool. I just feel like it's a lot of energy. Nathaniel's trying to put Rocky down. I'm gonna have to wait here because he's screaming his head off, so I'll be back. Sorry, you guys can tell this is not the best time to film, but it was the only time I could get today's video in. So I think I was talking about homeschool versus public, private, or charter. So Nathaniel and I both were public school kids, and I don't think I could personally homeschool. Just like for my own sanity, I don't think I could do that. I think that's taking on quite a bit, and if I was trying to work as well, I don't think that would go well. And I also just like liked my public school experience. I liked the social aspect of it, so Rocky will most likely go to a public school. We've kind of talked about like private or charter, but we don't really feel like strongly about that, but he'll most likely go to a public school. Next question is daycare. Rocky will not go to a daycare, and that is because I work from home and we have help that we need, which we're just super like blessed for that. I just personally tried my best to be able to have a schedule where I could work from home, so that way I didn't have to do daycare. All right, Rocky boy fought his nap, so he's gonna be sitting here with me. Little man, dude, he fought yesterday's nap too, which it just makes nights so much harder when he doesn't take a 30-minute nap. But I think I was rambling on about daycare. Rocky will not go to daycare because I'm a stay-at-home mom and we have help. That's all I wanted to say about that. This one was from Alyssa, her video, and she talked about just things you've learned from both families and parents, and I just loved what she said because she was talking about how she takes into consideration that she's raising a husband, she's raising a brother, she's raising a friend, and I just try and remember that so that when it comes to him like being those people, we did our best and like had all of that in mind. But there's a lot of things from both of our families that we are trying to take away, and I feel like that's kind of just like what you do as a parent. Like you take the things that you loved your parents did and things you hated, and you like decide which ones you want to use. But I'll just talk on a couple things me and Nathaniel have talked about quite a bit. On Nathaniel's side, he was taught a lot of respect and a lot of helping, and I'm trying to think of other things. We've talked about this in a podcast, but just like being quick to help, being super respectful of your elders. And babe, do you have anything? Sorry, I'm putting you on the spot. That's the main things we talk about. Yeah, okay. And then on my side, I feel like we talked about just like how we were open for communication and we've been able to like speak our minds kind of thing. So I feel like I'm drawing a blank, but we did record a podcast about this. I know I keep saying that, but me and Nathaniel have done a couple podcasts talking about parenthood. So I will link that down below if you guys are curious on like what we took from our families and what we want to do with that. Okay, the next thing is like cell phone or iPad usage. And again, me and Nathaniel need to talk about this more, but I got a cell phone when I was in 5th grade, and I think he got one in 7th grade?
6th grade.
6th grade. So Rocky will definitely get a cell phone. I feel like especially nowadays, it's like how you kind of communicate with your kid, especially since there's no home phones anymore. Like if we're ever gone, like he'll need one, or if he goes to friends, that kind of thing. But we haven't really decided what age. I feel like somewhere around where we got one sounds good. As far as an iPad goes, I feel like we're gonna try our best to hold off as long as we can, but if we eventually need to buy one, we don't have anything like crazy against it. We have seen it be super helpful, so we're not against it, but we won't be buying one anytime soon. Another quick one was like cloth versus disposable diapers. We do disposable. I don't know how anyone does cloth, especially with like a breastfed poop. I can't imagine like rinsing that by hand and then reusing it. I don't know. I think it's great, but I don't ever claim to be someone who's like super environmentally friendly. So yeah, hopefully I don't get any hate on that one. The next one is cussing. So Nathaniel and I, you guys have heard me cuss in these videos clearly. So we're not going to just like not cuss around him ever. But again, we haven't really talked about this. A lot of this stuff I feel like I'm saying my opinion on, but we don't want our kids cussing or cussing like at us. But if, I don't know, I just feel like if they don't ever hear cuss words, or if they're like, you cannot say a cuss word, then they're gonna want to like rebel even more. I don't even know how to explain that. I feel like I'm rambling. Are you trying to watch a video?
I'm listening to something, I'm sorry. I didn't hear what you said.
All right, cool. Okay, I got a lot of questions on like how I deal with mom guilt, and my two like kind of things are, one, I try my best not to work while he's awake, and I clearly am right now, but he fought his nap and I waited until the end of the day to not have him awake, but he's awake, so it does happen. But I even just feel guilty if I like step away and make myself food, but I just try and remind myself that I have to take care of myself in order to take care of him. So if I need to do some things for myself, then that's okay. Next topic is school grades, and like if we want to be like harsh about that and that kind of thing. So I really liked the way my mom did it. She worked with us a lot as kids to the point where she never had to ask about my grades in high school, and I got all A's because it was really important to me. So I do want him to try his best. If he doesn't get all A's, it's okay. Like, we're not gonna shame him, but he will definitely be turning in all of his assignments, and he'll be studying for things, you know what I mean? Like, we're gonna like teach him how to like try his best. So yeah, we're not gonna scold him, or I don't even know if I want to like praise him for getting A's. I never got like money. Nathaniel was like, because did you get money for A's?
Praise him for getting A's?
No, I feel like in my family it was expected.
Well, it's expected, but you can still be happy for him.
Well, I'll be happy. I mean, okay, so I guess praise was the wrong word. I meant reward.
Oh, okay.
Like, I don't want to be like, oh, if you get an A, I'll give you $100. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
So my bad. Praise was the wrong word. Nathaniel's jaw literally dropped to the floor. Okay, next one was like about kissing your baby. So we clearly had him during COVID, and it was super scary like to have anyone, but people still kissed his head. My mom is like super crazy about the newborn head smell, so like I had to let her, but we were really crazy about like hand sanitizing and just like trying not to kiss like the front of his face or like his hands, since his hands go in his mouth. Rocky is literally just chilling. Do I just need to like sit with him and film videos and talk, and he'll just like hang out? Because normally I can't sit with him like
Maybe
this.
he'll fall asleep.
Yeah, hopefully we'll put him to sleep. Nathaniel's also making dinner, so if you hear a lot of banging, that's dinner. Binky use, you guys have seen a binky in his mouth many times. It helps us so much, it soothes him so much. We gave it to him in the hospital, and we've had no issues with binkies or like him not latching or anything like that. This next one, I think this is the last one, which I feel like I kind of was like going super fast, so I'm sorry if this seems rushed, but the last one was about like when he gets older, and it was like boundaries with girlfriends when they're older. Will you allow him to go on vacation, or like girlfriends come on vacation, and then will you have a curfew? So I was able to go on vacations and take Nathaniel on vacations, and I thought it was super cool. The way my parents were in high school was like, he's like staring at me. What?
No, I was just listening.
Oh, okay. Well, I just feel like the way my parents were is they accepted everyone who came into our family. So even if we were only gonna date for 2 months or 2 years, like they just treated them like someone that we loved, and I really appreciated that from them. They were always very accepting of Nathaniel. And so if our kid has a girlfriend or boyfriend and they're like old enough, I feel like we'll let them go. I did have a curfew, but my mom was like super lenient about it. And honestly, I feel like I was a good kid because of it, because it wasn't super strict. And so he'll probably not be able to stay out until like 2 a.m. in high school, but he also won't be coming home at 8 p.m. if that makes sense. And that is pretty much it for all of these parenting questions. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I think it'll be fun to like look back in a few years and see what things I actually did and what things I like gave in on. But yeah, you guys got to star appearance too, because someone doesn't take his night nap. And you got a lot of background noise from dinner, but that's what I get for filming at 5:30 p.m.
I want you to ask like survey on your
questionnaire. Yeah.
If it's like different for a boy and girl, you know, I always say
oh
that.
my gosh, but just a poll. You don't want explanations, you just want like yes or no.
No, I just wanted to like preface that like it's not that I'm trying to like treat the girl differently. There are like different, I don't know, like what. So this is a argument, I would say, that Nathaniel and I have all the time, but his question he wants me to ask, and I'll probably ask it on Instagram after I post this, but are things different for boys and girls? So for an example, dating.
right?
Yeah.
Would you be more strict with your son dating someone versus your daughter dating someone?
Obviously you don't want to be, you don't want to.
Yeah, like, take out want.
Like, yeah.
Do you think like it should be different? So you guys comment below and let us know. I say no, Nathaniel says yes. I feel like you gotta treat your kids all the same, and Nathaniel is very protective over girls and will be over our daughter. So yeah, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed Vlogmas Day 10, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye guys. Do I just need to talk and then you will be good?